So, we got the first snowstorm in Canada today, and it really made me think of all the times I've gone camping. Now, camping's been a really big part of my life for the last 14 years, which is crazy. And I was like, I definitely have enough stories to turn this into a whole podcast episode. And just like based off of my experience I've had, it's just awesome. So yeah, we got a snowstorm today. It's currently November 22nd. It's kind of crazy because we usually get snow a lot sooner. Bizarre to think about, right? But yeah, I was just walking in the snow. I was just walking today, and snappy clack, blizzard just happened. I was like, wow, okay. And it just kind of just gave me that idea. I was like, why don't I talk about my all my camping experiences, because a lot of the people don't know about that, and all my new listeners on the podcast probably are like, camping, what? So I guess it all started back 14 years ago, whenever I got taken on my first camping trip. And this is when I was really young, by the way. Not really young, but I can't say the exact age, or people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is your age, cool." But pretty much 14 years ago now, I went on my very first camping trip. And now there's gonna be a lot of listeners thinking just like, "Oh, they went in like an RV, they went and drove a car out, stayed in like a tent by their car, or just at a normal trailer park campsite or something like that." No, this was intense. This is really where my like passion and like love for the outdoors really brewed, and I was like, wow. So pretty much I live in Ontario. If you guys don't know, I'm Canadian, and in northern Ontario is absolutely beautiful. Not Rocky Mountains like the West Coast, but there's mountains like hills, hills. But no, it's really nice. There's lakes everywhere in Ontario, so there's a lot of good spots to camp. And pretty much, I'm from southern Ontario, right? Because seriously, if you know Ontario, who the hell lives in northern Ontario? There's like only a small amount of people that live in Timmins, and that's like way the far fuck up north. So yeah, I'm not from Timmins, so I'm pretty much not living in northern Ontario. But the drive up to where we usually go is about 7 to 8 hours, and it's a big drive. When I was younger at the time, this is the very first time I went. I was like, wow. I was like, that is a really long drive. But I was like, I wonder why. Because at the time I was like, okay, maybe we're just going to stay at like this like trailer park or something like that. So we had to leave really early in the morning. You'd probably assume 5 in the morning actually. Get ready 4:30. Get everything out the door by 5. It's ridiculous. But as soon as we got there, we arrived around like afternoonish, right? Sometimes if traffic was bad, because they never fixed the damn highway by Sudbury, going up to Sudbury, like that's gonna take a gazillion years to fix. Just no, not to fix, sorry, to make. There's a little bridge though. It's like a pain in the ass to cross every single time. But depending on how bad traffic is, like this drive could take up to like 10 hours, because this traffic could just be brutal. But no, we usually got there around afternoonish. No later than 3 o'clock most of the time, unless we were leaving really late. But when we got there, there's a spot when you're just on the road, and it's just like you lose absolutely all service to your phone and any devices you have with you. And you go into this like it's just like this. It's like not a four-wheeling road, because well at the time it was like a four-wheeling road, but it's been like maintained and kind of just like bushed out as the marine made more money. But you'd go drive in like not even five, like 6 kilometers off of the highway into this like in the middle of like not the middle of the bush, because that's where the campsite is, but right into the bush. And there's just like little marina, that's what it's called, not a marina. Marine's a soldier, but a marina right beside like a small little dock and a parking lot. Now these guys would help you out. They sometimes, it depends which campsite you go to, because they have a pontoon boat, so they can put all your gear on the boat and travel out. But depending on which lake system you want to go on, you go grab your canoe, and when you get there, you unload all your gear into the canoe and you paddle out. Portage, if you don't know what portaging is, it's pretty much when you get to a little spot, like a little intervene, and you have to grab all your gear, move your canoe through trail to another lake system. So like say that lake system ends, but there's another lake system right beside you. You have to grab all your shit, get it to the other side, past all these motherfucking mosquitoes. It's terrible. And get to the other side, and it's just like, as soon as you're there, it's just such a pain in the ass to do portages. I don't think anybody enjoys to do them. But once you get to the other side, it's just like, it's nice, because then you just get back to the paddling, itching your neck, itching your head, because you got all those mosquito, black fly, horsefly, deer flies. Oh my gosh. Horse flies are the worst. Those things take chunks out of you. The one thing I never look forward to when camping, so like you always have to pray for the perfect weather where it's a little bit like not too hot for mosquitoes, so the mosquitoes aren't really there. The horse flies are gone. Like if you have a couple deer flies, you can manage, right? You can manage, because those things, like, you swat them, they're not bad to kill. But yeah, you pretty much, it's intense doing the whole thing, the whole process. So what we did for the very first trip, we actually did a portage, like I was talking about. So we didn't get the pontoon boat out to a campsite farther away. We didn't get any of that fancy stuff. It was just put our boat in the water. We had two canoes. I think we had about 6-7 guys at the time. 2 canoes. No, we had 6 guys. And me and my cousin, we were younger at the time, remember that. And a couple adults. And we got all our stuff in. Remember, you have to put the barrel packs in the canoes, because, well, you don't just take you take backpacks. You can take a backpack for your clothes and stuff, but you want to make sure your bags don't have the stench or the smell of food, because you never want to take something into the bush that smells like food and it has that food smell over it, especially meat. Like if you're carrying a bag and it smells like meat, oh dude, you're gonna get eaten by a bear. I'm sorry. Like maybe if you're down in the States, I don't really know how it is down there. I've never been camping in the States, but like in Northern Ontario, if you have a bag, it smells like meat, you're fucked. Don't even try. Don't even bring it up there. So what we do is you bring barrel packs, and these barrel packs they're very secure, and you have metal, like literally metal bars that like closes it. It's like a latch to unlatch and latch the barrel to close. You have to put like ice in it, depending what kind of food you're gonna bring in. Now these trips are usually 4 to 5 days long, or 5 to 6, depending if you get a long weekend. And yeah, it can be really, so you have to make sure everything's really compressed and packed in there, because you have literally all your 5 days worth of supplies in these barrel packs. You got to make sure they last. Now, they always last, because every time we overpack, okay? We've been doing this for 14 years. Every time it's overpacked. But pretty much, yeah, we got all our stuff in the canoe. We got our tents. We have our barrel packs. We had our we have compression bags, because remember, you can't just bring in like this whole crap load of stuff, because like how are you gonna put them in the canoe, right? You gotta pack very small. So we portage. It took us about 3 hours to do the canoe ride, because remember, canoeing's not, unless you're like these intense crazy Olympic paddlers, you're not gonna get there crazy, and like half the time you're gonna be canoeing, but when you're canoeing, you're gonna be talking, listening to music, enjoying the view. It's not always like, it's just not like you're going hard down the lake. It's just like a nice easy calm, but like a calm paddle, you don't want to rush. But we got there probably around 6 o'clock. Now remember, it's summertime, so daylight savings, sun goes down around like 9-10ish, so that gives us about 3 to 4 hours to set up camp, which is really nice, by the way. When you start going later in the fall, it's just a pain in the ass to set up camp, because you got to get in early, because if you don't, you're going to be setting up in the dark, and like that's the last thing you want, is setting up your camp in the dark. Now, usually with everything going on, dinner always gets pushed back to 10:30, 11ish. Each night, by the way, I would just like to point that out, it's always late dinners, but they're so worth it, because the where you have to prep your meals, cook the meals, it's so much more complex. It's not complex, really. You just need to be very careful, because if you can't spill food on the ground, right? If you're in the middle of the bush, in the middle of nowhere, if you see a bear, it's not like you can just pick up your phone and be like, ring, ring, we need a nature guy up here with a shoddy to come get the bear. No, you can't just do that. You can't. There's no service. So we usually pack, we'll always pack bear spray, bear bangers. If you don't want a bear banger, it's like a flare that you like. It's like a stick on a flare, and you like flip the lever, pew! It's like a fire, like launching a firework out of a little tube. It's really cool. But yeah, we pack these. We get our camp set up. Usually, most of the time, there's a lot of people who go to these campsites, right? Well, not really a lot of people, but as the areas gets more found, more people go to the areas. But usually what you do is a really good, really good tip, by the way. Most people don't know this, but if you have pine needles in the area, you bring like a little rake or something. You rake them all up, creating a nice base, and put your tent over top of the pine needles, because when you go to bed, it's going to be so damn comfortable when you go lie down. Because if you're going to put your tent over a rock, you're going to move and you're going to be like, oh my God, there's a rock up my ass in the middle of the night. And that's the worst feeling. So if you got pine needles and everything underneath, it's good. And you want to make sure it's level too, because if it starts raining in the middle of the night, like, that's going to suck, because the water's going to get in your tent. You're going to be soaked. It's not fun. Trust me. It's happened before. Not fun. But yeah, we get in, unpack. Usually the first night's pretty chill. Just unpacking, chillaxing, dinner, enjoy the stars. Because when you're in Northern Ontario, the stars are incredible. Like, you're up there, you can see so much. It's even, the farther you go up north, the better the stars get. And it's just amazing. Like, if you bring a telescope, you can like see Jupiter. Well, you can see Jupiter clearly from just a normal house, but you can see these planets so clearly. Like, it's just amazing. And the amount of stars, like the density, like, it's crazy. It's such, honestly, like, if you get to go camping and you go so far up north, like, there's no light pollution, it's honestly such an amazing sight, and like something that you'll never forget. Like, right now I can just close my eyes and picture all the stars and just sitting on that rock, like that rock that's been in the sun all day, heated up by the sun, sitting on that, casual couple spiders or creepy crawlers crawling by you, but just overall enjoying it. And like, it's just awesome. What a great feeling. But usually that's kind of like the basics of how we get into the campsites. Like, as the years have gone by, I have, again, it's gotten more extreme. Like, I've gotten on way more intense trips over the past 3 years. Yeah, the past 3 years I've gone on, these are just recent ones, but some really intense trips down major river systems. So yeah, we go pretty much the river trips. These ones are crazy because they're fun. You have to, so what we do is we'll drive, it's way, way, way farther than the normal camp, because you're going extremely far up north. But usually in the spot we go, there's a train and a train station, and pretty much what we'll do is we'll go stay at maybe we'll rent a hotel room the night before, but we will go get the hotel room or something, stay there for the night, and then in the morning, like, crack it on early, because if you miss the train, your whole trip gets screwed up, because it's not like, unless you have someone with a 4-wheeler that can get you in, like, it can be really tough. But what we do is we stay over at a motel overnight. Everything stays in the car. Wake up, get out, go up north, like, not drive, but it's like 30-minute drive. We get to the train station, unload all our gears, get the cars parked, like, locked, everything like that. The train comes, and you only have a certain amount of time before the train departs. So you got to get all your stuff in the back carts in there. Like, you got to get your canoes loaded, all your gear loaded, and boom. And then what you'll do, it's a really nice train too. It's like a cargo train, right? But there's some passenger seats, which are nice. So you got to get you got to get in the train. It's about maybe like an hour and a half ride up, because remember, this train's going fast. So this train just will be like, someone right in the middle, dropping off here, and then top of the river we're at. We got to get all of our gear off of the train into the grass. And this is like the most crazy thing I've ever seen. Just like the most crazy moment of my life is the first time we got all of our gear off the train. We're standing there. The train leaves, and we are in the middle of the absolute buttfuck nowhere. Like, man, it hit hard. It really hits hard when you're standing there, and the only way to get back to civilization is by getting down the river. It really hits you, and it really hit me. I was like, wow. It's like, literally, the only way I'm getting out of here now is getting down this river. There's no like, yeah, I can just paddle out in the morning. It's like, no, you got to get down the river. And it's bear season too. Like, there's bears, but honestly, a lot of people are really scared of bears. They over dramatize it by so much. Most of the time, yeah, they can be scary, but as long as like they're really not hungry, they're not going to attack you. And like, you know, it can be scary, yeah, but like you gotta live with them. That's the part of camping. Like you go camping, you see a bear, it's just part of it, man. It's nature. Same with other animals. Like you see a moose, first of all, big ass animal, never want to run into. It's awesome seeing a moose, but man, they're massive. But yeah, they're cool. Again, just a part of nature. Now, honestly, I'd be more scared of a moose than a bear. Like if you like all the campers that are watching, like the extreme ones, like if you know what I mean, like man, a moose, they're scary. They're big. Like they could tip your car. Like a bear could tip your car too, but man, a moose, it hits hard. But yeah, so that was one of the most surreal feelings I've ever felt. So pretty much we get in the river. We do like a nice little, like one of the guys talked. He's been going down the river for many of years now, but as my first time, he was talking about the appreciation of the great outdoors. And now that's the one thing that's really important is the appreciation for the great outdoors, because if you're not if you don't appreciate it, if you just go in there, throw crap in the forest, it's disrespectful, man. Because like you're going in there on Mother Nature's land. You don't just go in there to throw your crap away. The one rule we always have going into the bush is whatever you take in, you must take out, and it does not matter what it is. Like say you break something, you got to take that out of there. You're not just leaving it there for Mother Nature to take care of. It's like whatever you bring in, you bring out. Now that's the one rule that we always go by, and everybody who's watching should go by that rule too, because you don't want to just leave crap at random places. It's just honestly just what a douchebag move. And man, when people just do it, man, it's just like leaving beer cans everywhere, leaving crap. It's just like, it's annoying. But yeah, we go down the river is about 88 kilometers from the top of the river is probably about 120, but where we got dropped off is about 88 kilometers to the not the very bottom of the river, but the part of the river where we needed to depart and get back to the train station, really. So yeah, pretty much it's an 88 kilometer paddle, it doesn't seem like a lot, right? Maybe it's like when you're comparing it to a car, but like it's a long paddle. Like usually it's a 5-day trip, right? So you got to make about 20 kilometers, 25 kilometers every day if you can. Now there's a really nice campsite at the very bottom of the river. Not the very bottom, but like maybe like 10 kilometers from departure. So usually we want to do like maybe if we can like 30 kilometers in a day, so we can get that extra 2 days to camp out and just chill at the campsite at the very bottom. Because paddling for 3 days straight all day long, it's hard. Now you're probably like wondering like, well, you're paddling 30 kilometers, where do you stay? Now there's like little campsites and like little places you can like not actual campsites, but like these little places, open spots where people over time have like kind of turned into campsites. And those are the spots where you go pitch a tent, go in there, like get all your stuff down, get all your gear down, chill there for the night, have a fire, and maybe crack a beer or something like that. Well, most of the time. But yeah, you don't want to get absolutely hammered though, because if you're going down, like if you're going down the next morning after like you got hammered the night before and you're in the sun all day, you don't want to do that. It's not going to feel good. You got to paddle like 30 kilometers. No, it's not going to feel good. But yeah, you keep paddling down the river, you make your little stops, and it's just awesome because like there's so much to see. Now, yes, at like some points it can just be so brutal, but like it's such a great experience because all the time you're always singing a song, listening to music, going down the river, just in the middle of nowhere. You don't got to stress about anything. It's just amazing. Like honestly, I absolutely love it. But yeah, it's really cool. And I remember the one time, the final campsite we got to, it was there's like a little cliff there. Oh my god, it was so cool. The campsite was on a cliff. It wasn't a very high cliff, don't get me wrong, but it was still a cliff, and you could go cliff jumping off it, which was really cool. I absolutely love that. Doing all the cliff jumping, it's honestly amazing. And yeah, it honestly, it's such a cool experience. Now, there's been many of camping trips I've done. Like I said, I've been going for about 14 years now, which is a long time. I do plan to take my first. I haven't taken a solo trip yet. Mainly the reason is because I'm a big chicken. I'm not that big of a chicken, but like it's scary. Like you can get very paranoid taking your first solo trip. But me and my cousin, he has been going on these trips with me every single year. We're really good buds, and we want to do like a trip, just the two of us going up, dropped off, and go for five, not maybe like 4 3 4 days, but it'd be fun. We would have like I'm a decent cooker, you know. I'm not nothing special. Like I'm not like this crazy person who can cook these fantastic meals, but I know how to cook. Um, but it would be fun. Yeah, we're planning to do our first um, like duo trip together, and then after I do that, I want to take a solo trip. Probably just not down a river or anything, not paddling, because again that can be very dangerous doing it by yourself. As if you get hurt, really badly injured, when you're by yourself on a river, like again, it's very rare you'll run into another person. Like you will run into other paddlers, but like man, if you get injured like seriously really badly out there, like these rapids, if there's like class 1 to 5 rapids, well, not the class 5, but there's class 4 rapids on these rivers. And if you hit a class 4 rapid wrong, and say you like break your boat, or say you get really badly injured, you hit your head, it's usually really smart. You'll see a lot of people do this wearing helmets. So, because if you do tip, you don't want to smash your head off a rock. That would be really bad. But yeah, if you're out there by yourself just paddling, like that could be really dangerous. And you know how you need to know how to maneuver a boat, and just like you got to make sure you know how to do everything properly. And if you do get in a situation like that, you got to make sure you know how to get out of it. So I don't think I'm like enough that experienced yet to go down an 80-kilometer river by myself. Like, and honestly, it still kind of freaks me out too, because when you at the time usually go down is August is probably the best time because the water's not too high, especially like for a newbie, or like first timer. I'd probably go down August because it's not bear season yet. Because hunting season is like October, right? September, October, November, and it can get really cold. Like I don't want to be freezing. Like summertime's nice too. But yeah, it seems like a lot. I'd probably want to do it just duo trip, the same thing, going down like one of those rivers, and then I'd probably just want to go and do a solo trip. I don't know. It's not anytime soon, anyways, because it's still the idea of it freaks me out. Sorry, just have to take a drink there. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool. I've always thought of it. But I want to do my first solo trip. Just going doing some casual camping by myself, just to kind of get that feel for being in the bush and being out there all alone. Because when you're out in the bush all by yourself, it's you get paranoid. Like, man, you hear you gotta have your firewood too. That's important. Like there's one rule. Like it doesn't matter how much firewood you have, because if you have firewood for yourself, you'll have the same amount as firewood for 9 people. So you always want to get more firewood. Like if you think you have a good amount of firewood, get more, because you're gonna need more. Like I said, if you collect firewood for one person, it's the same for 9 people. You got to just keep getting more, because oh boy, I can't stress enough. Like if I'm doing my first solo trip, I'm making sure I have a big fire, going all night long, because I do not want no critters coming into my camp. And now, again, you don't have to worry about these things like wolves, bears coming into your camp if you do it properly. Like if you close up all your gear, you don't leave any food out, you don't drop any food on the ground, you don't have all these scents coming from your camp, nothing's going to come get you, because it doesn't want anything from your camp. Like yeah, it's probably going to smell you, because bears have like an amazing sense of smell, but even if it smells you, it's not going to really care. It's going to be like, okay, he's over there. But if it smells a raw sirloin steak dripping blood all over the ground, you're fucked, man. Like it's coming into your campsite, so you better be prepared with a couple bear bangers, or like there's something, man. Honestly though, we always have a funny joke. Like I'm a good runner, right? So I'm just like, if a bear comes here, I don't gotta outrun the bear. I gotta outrun you. It's such a horrible joke too. Cause we're like literally saying this to each other. Like we're gonna run. Bye. Yeah, have fun. Thanks for saving yourself for us. But yeah, it's not like I don't need to outrun the bear. I just gotta outrun you. Then I'm good. Now, I don't know. I've always thought of like ways how would I escape a bear, because a bear is like a superhuman. It can climb trees, it can swim water, it can run through a bush so fast. It's like, how do you escape a bear? Because like if you swim, it's gonna swim after you. If you climb a tree, it's most likely it's like either like the bear can either like I don't know. It depends how fat it is, because like a bear can get up there, but like if it's just like a really fat bear, I don't know. Maybe he won't be able to get up there, but maybe he'll shake that tree. Have you seen the movie Without a Paddle? Where such a great movie. Without a Paddle, where the three guys go camping in the middle of the wilderness. Really, they're not safe about it, and he's going fishing with a flashlight, and he catches a fish. Turns around, there's a bear. And this is where the saying comes in. There's the three guys, and one of them can't run fast, and they're just like, I don't have to outrun the bear, I just gotta outrun you. And they're all running. And the small guy falls, gets taken by the bear, but the bear is trying to get the other two guys, and they climb a tree, but it couldn't get up the tree, just shaking it and shaking it. It eventually leaves, but man, they're like, they won't. Bears, man, they're crazy. Well, like I said, they're like an insane animal to encounter. But as long as you pack up everything and do it right, like you have nothing to worry about. Now, I remember the first time I heard like wolves howling in the middle of the night. I was like, it's so amazing. But I was like, man, it freaks me out, but so cool. I love it. Just the sound of nature is just awesome. And when you're sitting there, like this is where like we get paranoid from. It's like when you're just sitting there by yourself in a tent, right? You have your fire like stoked going overnight. You hear your fire like crackling in the night, but then you start hearing like footstep sounds in the forest. You start hearing the bushes move. You start hearing owls go like hoo hoo. You start hearing just things moving around in the bush. Oh man, it's just the worst. It's just the worst. Like I haven't experienced it myself yet because I haven't taken a solo trip, but the stories I've heard, it's just like it's terrifying. Like the best thing to do is if you know like you're 100% sure that you've done everything right, your whole campsite's clean, there's nothing to worry about. The best thing to do is just put your headphones in, put your music to full blast, and just doze off to the music. And it's honestly such a great advice. Like, have that music playing, go to bed, and just wake up in the morning and you'll be fine. It just, when you start hearing everything moving in the bush, all the sounds that you don't normally hear but you start hearing, it's just like, you get so paranoid. And like, just get those headphones in, fall asleep, and you'll be fine when you wake up. It's just getting past that fear. Now, it's always nice to bring a speaker, kind of we always bring fireworks, right? We'll usually go on the Canada Day long weekend, which is on July 1st, to any American viewers watching. So we'll always bring fireworks, let a firework off during the night, just so everything in the area knows we're here and we're chilling, just, we can't have, any unexpected visitors coming, because we want to have that firework go off, and we want to let them know we're coming, we're in charge here, we're chilling. The one time though, we actually let off a firework. Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. It was the weirdest sound too. So we let off a firework, right? It goes in the air, boom. 5 minutes later, we hear this like, not a yelp, right? This weird scream of some sort. Not a person, like this is an animal. And it's just like doing this weird little scream of itself, and we're like, what the hell is that? And it would go, like for maybe like 10 seconds, right? Stop. 5 minutes later, it would go again. Stop. 5 minutes later, go again. And we're like, what the hell is that? Like, we're like, is Bigfoot sitting there eating popcorn, scaring the shit out of us across the lake? Like, we're like, what is that? Like, that is really freaky, man. Like, seriously, what's making that sound across the lake? So we're all here paranoid. We're just like, okay, should we shoot a firework at it to shut it up? No, we would never do that. But oh my god, we're just like, all right, it eventually stopped, right? But it was I don't even know. what the sound would be. But we searched it up after we got out of the bush. It was like a type of it was either a type of, I forget what it was, but I think it was a type of owl or a type of deer. And it was like a defensive yelp it would make. I think it was an owl, and it was like a defensive yelp it would make to, because we were setting off the firework, right? Just to let us, so we were letting everything know that we were there. I think with that yelp, it was letting us know that it was over there. It's bizarre. Now, what is it? We talked about bears. We talked about bears earlier, and I have seen a bear before. Like, they're it's cool. Like, I've seen a couple bears. Usually I see when we're driving in, like, through that road to get into the marina, we usually see a couple bears crossing the road. Like, they're not brown bears, black bears. That's usually what we see. No, we're not going to see any white bears over here because it's not Antarctica. It's actually kind of crazy to hear, like, the polar bear stories, how, like, a couple of them have come in by the Hudson Bay area. It's like, wow, that's crazy how the polar bears have, like, gotten so far down. But again, that's because of global warming. Like, they're losing all their ice and now they're being forced to swim down, right? So it's just like, wow. It's kind of crazy, actually, when you think about it. I don't know about penguins. Like, I haven't really looked into that stuff too much. It's just kind of crazy what you hear. Yeah, well, I've seen a couple bears before. Like, it's cool. We were sitting one day and we just saw this like object. It was just moving across the lake, and we're like, what is that? Like, what is that thing over there? It's just something's just moving and chillaxing on the other side of the lake, and it's a baby black bear. And I was like, because we always bring binoculars, right? So just with the binoculars looking across the lake, it's like, oh wow, it's like that's a baby black bear, and if there's a baby, the mama's not far away, So it's like, okay. Now across the lake, maybe like what, a kilometer long lake? I don't know. I wouldn't know how to measure that. 1,500 meters, 2 kilometers. I don't know. It's not far though. If it wanted to come over, it could, because there's a spot where it can swim across. But yeah, crazy. It's awesome seeing bears. No, have I seen a moose before? I've seen a moose. Just driving on the highways in Ontario, like a couple times you'll see moose, but I've never seen a moose. Whenever I was camping, like, and I've been camping for 14 years. Crazy, right? I think I've mentioned that quite a few times now, but never once saw a moose. I'm always unlucky with that stuff. I've seen deer. I've seen bears. I've seen crap ton of wildlife. Never seen a moose. I have seen a moose though. Like, again, like I said, on the side of a highway, I saw one. It wasn't dead. No, it was just like in a little marshy field. It was cool. There's 4 of them actually. I think there was the mom, the dad, and 2. Are they called cubs? No, it's a bear. I forget what the baby moose are called. But yeah, calves. I think they're calves. I'm not sure. Is that a cow? I'm not entirely sure. But we saw there's the 2 babies, right? It's cool. It's like a little family moose. It's like, that is awesome. So it was cool to see those things in the wilderness. So yeah, that was like pretty much all the wildlife I've seen. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. So there's like this, about a kilometer down, we usually grab the canoes and paddle down, but there's this nice little waterfall by the camp. And the year we went, the recent year, like, we usually go, like, again, Canada Day long weekend every year. This waterfall this year, the water was so low this year. It was crazy. And you can always tell how low this water is by just looking at the lake. But when you go to this waterfall, like, it was not there. There's just a little stream of rocks this year. Like a little stream going through all the rocks. And I was like, whoa, crazy. And a deer actually died by the water. So we didn't really want to go over there this year just because it can be really, like, if you drink the water and you get that crap in your system, not good. Not good at all. Like, really bad. Yeah, it's insane. It was crazy though. I was surprised on how low the water was this year. But when the water's high, man, that place is like like a 5-star resort. It is amazing. Like it's when it's like it's like there's a perfect level to be at, right? So you can just climb up through the bush. And there's like these little eddies. And if you don't know what an eddy is, it's like a pool of water that gets like kind of go off to the side in like a little circle, so it's all calm while the rapids go by. And there's a couple eddies in there that you can just go into, sit and relax. And again, this water kind of just stays there, swirling all day. The sun's directly on it, so it's like a hot tub, right? And you just, it's amazing. You're sitting there with the drinks and looking at the sun, enjoying the day with the waterfall. It's awesome. There's fishing too in there. It was hilarious. The one time I was sitting in the waterfall and I was just enjoying it myself, and there's a fish and it went into my pants, and I was like, I'm not much of a fisherman either. I'm not too big on the fishing. I've never really enjoyed it. I just don't have the patience for it, really. It's like, yeah, like calm day, relaxing. Yeah, fishing's nice, but it's just sitting there. Fish goes. It's a small one, a smallmouth bass, right into my pants. I was like, oh my god. I was like, what the fuck? It's like there's a fish in my pants. So I reach in and I was like, oh shit. I grab it and I'm like, guys, look at this. I caught a fish. And I was like, no joke. I was holding a fish in my hand. And I was like really freaked out by it. I was like, oh, this is disgusting. And I just fling it back into the water. But I was like, I don't catch fish on a fishing pole, but I catch fish with my hands now. I was like, see, that is hilarious. I caught a fish with my hands. It's like, just call me the all-time fisherman around here nowadays, boys. It was awesome though. Well, not awesome at the time. I was like, oh Jesus Christ, the fish was just in my pants. You don't understand how fast I got out of there afterwards. It's like, Jesus, I hate fish. Disgusting. Yeah, one of my pants, really weird. It wasn't pants, it's shorts, but you know what I mean. But yeah, it's crazy. This year, it was cool. So we actually built a sauna. Now you're probably thinking, how the hell did they build a sauna in the middle of the middle of nowhere? How did they build a sauna? Man, so cool. So what we did is we brought like a little hunting tent, right? It's just a small one, and you bring a propane heater. And what you do with that is you put the propane heater. You have to put the pine needles on all of the cracks, right? And there's just a little zipper to get in and out, so that now you have this enclosed space for your sauna, right? You put in the little heater, right? You have that propane tank thingy. It's like a propane gas heater thing. You have that in there going, okay? Now, again, probably not the best idea to breathe in propane burning, but it's not like it's safe. It's not going to kill you like what we did. I don't recommend trying this, by the way. So we brought that in. Now that's generating a nice amount of heat. And now we have this like, I forget what else we brought in. It was just this. It's like a type of heater, right? And like it was crazy. Like you shut the thing, and it was. I wish I could show you the pictures. Not until I do the face reveal, but man, it was amazing. Like we built an actual sauna in the middle of the outdoors. Now this sauna, like when you want to go take a trip in the fall, when it's starting to get cold, this sauna is amazing. You take the sauna, you go jump in the lake. Best thing ever. Honestly, it's the best. Like, what a genius idea. And it was just one of my relatives. He found it out and how to build it, and it's just like by his own, figured it out. And I was like, that is crazy. Because when they first initially told me the idea that we're building a sauna, I was like, no way. I was like, you can't build a sauna. We're going out in the middle of nowhere. And like, yes, we can. We can build a sauna. I was like, no way. You're telling me we can get a sauna up there? It's like, yeah. I was like, huh, that is amazing. And yeah, it was cool. Sauna, amazing. And the water this year was cold. I like the 1 year we went, 2 years ago, the water in the lake, holy cow, it felt like bath water. I'm not even joking. Like, you'd go in, oh my gosh, it legit, it felt like you were hopping in the bath. Like, we had this, our campsite was taken by a solo canoeer, so we had to go to another one. And it was a really crappy campsite because there was no shade. Like, there's all open. Like, the one tree that was there, like, did nothing because of the way the sun was up all day. And, yeah, it was not pleasant. So we spent most of the day in the water. But it was awesome because it was on a cliff, right? So we just jump off of this campsite into the water. And this water felt like bath water because of how hot it was. It was like 35 every single day. It was like, wow. But yeah, it was nice. It was cool. I love that. I was like doing some, not flips, because I'm not like a freaking slingy. I can't move my body into the ways to make the flips go, or unless I want to break my neck. But we're jumping off, going in the water. It was amazing. But yeah, you're probably, if you're at this part of the podcast, like a lot of you are probably like wondering, like, so how do you take a shit up there? Like, I can understand how you piss. Like, you just, you know, you do your business by a tree, but like, how the hell do you shit? Now, we have these things called shitters, and like they're in each campsite, so it's like a little wooden box with a circle. Like there's a lid on it, right? But you're just sitting there, and the one campsite we have, it's the best shitter in the world. Like you go up to the very top of the mountain. The shitter box is right there. You have a little rock covering you, but you have this really nice, like, clear spot, view of the lake, of the whole entire lake, because you're on the top of the mountain and the trees. So what you do is you bring up a speaker, you bring up some music, you go up early in the morning where the bugs aren't bad, and yeah, it's so nice. But the campsite we're at with the cliffs, terrible shitter. It was literally right there in front of the whole lake. So if someone on a boat goes by, all you got to do is you got to smile and wave and just hope they think they know what you. Jeez, man. You just hope that they turn away quick. Oh, that's the worst though, when you get stuck with a bad shitter and like there's someone in a canoe going by and they just like happen to look over and they're just you, just like, what are you gonna do? You just gotta smile and wave, boys. Smile and waves. So yeah. But man, go in the early morning, it's the time of your life. Amazing. The one year, what we did is we took a bug tent and we put it over. Like it was like a porta potty bug tent type thing. We put it over it. Terrible idea. The smell and the stench got like trapped in it. It was horrible, nasty, disgusting. And it was hot too in there, because that was the one where there's no shit at all in the campsite. So it was just hot and smelly. It's just horrible, horrible, horrible. But yeah, honestly, crazy. It's so awesome. I think probably to wrap this up, like, I think my overall, like, the best times is just when you're out there around 12 o'clock, 1 in the morning, lying there on the rocks looking up at the stars. It's just amazing. It's cool to see all the shooting stars go by, all of the stars, like the millions and billions of stars, all the satellites go by, all the shooting stars. It's just awesome. And it's crazy too, because you can see a shit ton of shooting stars. It's so cool. But yeah, that was pretty much today's episode. I hope you guys all enjoyed my little me, myself, and the great outdoors. It's a great passion of mine, and I think I want to bring this episode back with I want to get some wilderness creators, content creators over on YouTube to join me in a podcast. Maybe like talking about survival trips, their experiences, their trips, and I thought that'd be really cool for an episode in the future. But this podcast is available on YouTube and Spotify. All the links on YouTube are in the description, and in Spotify, if you want to go check out the YouTube channel, it is called NDV Games. If you want to watch it on YouTube, but Spotify is amazing. Definitely, if you're on this Spotify, please do follow. Set a notification for this podcast because it's amazing. And anyways, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in episode 3.